have successfully been able to combine my three media products through the manner in which I use the same character and actor within all three of my products. It is important to use the same character, given that the character then becomes a recognizable face for the audience, allowing them to identify the film through the familiarity of the character. Given that the trailer involved two main characters, B, the central protagonist, and Justin, the central antagonist, I had two main characters to choose from. Given that B featured a lot within our trailer, I decided that it would be a good idea to use her face in order to help me form a brand identity for our film. This would ensure that my audience could identify my film through the use of B's face. It is also conventional to use the central protagonist as a way of marketing the film to your target demographic, meaning that I was able to do this in all three of my media products and thus combine them in a successful manner. Obviously, one of the main reasons why I chose B was given that it was conventional to include your central protagonist on all of your marketing products. However, I also thought that it would be a good idea to use B in order to combine my media products. I thought this given that B within our trailer often expresses her emotions and feelings. This would therefore mean that I would be able to capture some good shots of B expressing emotion for our film poster and magazine front cover. As you can see from this aerial shot that we used in the trailer, the way in which we have captured B so that the camera has been positioned directly above her makes her look weak, vulnerable and insecure, given that the camera is positioning her to be subordinate. The wide eyes and lack of emotion on her face also help to encode the fact that she feels weak and vulnerable within this situation in the trailer as a result of her mental illness. You can see from the way in which her blanket is pulled closely up to her chin that she feels weak and vulnerable and therefore is using the blanket as a method of protecting herself given that she feels so on edge. Another example where you can see how B is positioned to be vulnerable and inferior is in the shot where B is captured sitting on her bed. You can see from the manner in which B has her blanket firmly round her that when she is sitting on her bed, that she is using her blanket as a method of protection. The way in which she has her elbows firmly tucked in and the blanket completely round her body helps to encode that she thinks it will be best to tuck and hide herself away at this point in her life. This therefore successfully helps to show the scale and impact her mental illness is having on her life, given that she feels the best thing to do on a day-to-day basis is sit on her bed and cover herself away. Other examples of where we can see B being represented in a vulnerable and insecure manner include this shot of her in the car, where we can see through her unsettled eyeline that she feels very insecure and does not know where to look. The next example is where B is looking out the window. We can see from the manner in which her face is lacking emotion that she feels cold and on edge within her life. The next example can be seen within this shot of her in her bedroom. We can see from the way in which her head is positioned downwards that she feels very insecure and vulnerable, given that she is not excited and does not want to look up or around in her bedroom. This also emphasizes how vulnerable she feels, given that it creates the impression that she does not feel safe even within her own bedroom. Finally, one of the last shots I will talk about within the trailer that shows her vulnerability is the shot of her heavily breathing within her bedroom. Here we can see how she is starting to get panicked and on edge, which also helps to encode the fact that she is presented as a vulnerable central protagonist. The way in which I have consistently used a wide variety of techniques such as camera angles, lighting, body language and facial expressions to encode the fact that B feels weak and vulnerable all successfully allow me to create a theme of B being vulnerable, inferior and subordinate within my trailer. This was therefore a theme that I was going to be able to use again within my ancillary products in order to combine my products in a successful manner. This would not only allow me to combine my products through using the same character within my products, but I would also be able to combine my products through representing this character in a similar manner. Firstly, you can instantly see through the way in which I have used the same actor on all three of my products that I have been able to combine my media products effectively. I have been able to combine my media products effectively given that by using the same character I have created a brand identity. Through using the central protagonist on my free products, I have been able to ensure that my products are easily identifiable for my audiences, given that they will recognize my products via the central protagonist that has been included on all of my products. This is the basic way in which I have combined my media products in an effective manner. Given that Bea expresses her emotion on the trailer, I also wanted to ensure that she expressed her emotion within the poster and magazine front cover. By ensuring that Bea expresses her emotion on the poster and magazine front cover, I would be able to combine my products through the way in which all of my products express emotion through the use of the central protagonist. As you can see on the poster, the way in which I captured Bea so that she was staring directly into the character helped to encode that she felt trapped and vulnerable. It helped to encode that she was expressing a lot of emotions and therefore felt very overwhelmed within her life at this current point. You can also see from the secondary image that the way in which she is looking to the side helps to show that she feels trapped and is wanting to escape. The way in which she has slightly raised her eyebrows helps to show that she is scared and vulnerable and that she feels trapped within her current life at the moment. This therefore shows how I was able to capture images that would express her emotions, thus meaning that I was able to combine my media products effectively. You can also see from the way in which I have captured Bea on my magazine front cover that she expresses her emotion. From the dropped jaw, you can help to infer that she feels slightly shocked and on edge. This therefore helps to combine my media products, given that all three of my products express Bea's emotions and show how she is feeling within the film. I have also been able to combine my media products to the representations of the central protagonist. Given that I was using the central protagonist as a way for my audiences to identify and recognize my film, I felt it was important to represent the character in all three of my products using a consistent way. This therefore meant that I was able to combine my media products through having a consistent representation of the central protagonist. In my film trailer, through the shot of Justin tightly holding his hands around Bea's face, we are able to infer that Bea feels weak and vulnerable, given that she can't hold control of the relationship. We can see from her wide eyes that she doesn't feel comfortable and relaxed within the situation at all, and that this relationship is no longer the loving relationship that we were exposed to at the start. I have used this weak and vulnerable representation of Bea within both my film poster and magazine front cover in order to combine my text and thus ensure there was continuity between my media products. For example, as you can see from the mid shot on the front cover, I was able to successfully direct for Bea to stand in a manner where she looked into the camera with wide eyes and a slightly dropped jaw. This subtle facial expression helped to encode the fact that Bea feels slightly on edge and not right in her current situation. Therefore, the manner in which I have been able to capture this representation so far shows how I've been able to successfully combine my ancillary products and trailer. When looking at the image I captured on the poster, it is possible to say that the way in which Bea raises her eyebrows and slightly tenses her jaw helps to encode the fact that she feels vulnerable and weak. The shadow of Bea also helps to make her look worried, given that the manner in which she is looking slightly up gives the impression that she is reflecting on things and her current situation. The manner in which I have been able to successfully encode this vulnerable and scared representation of my central protagonist across all three of my media products shows and demonstrates the manner in which I have been able to successfully combine my media products and thus create effective continuity between them. It shows how I've been able to establish a brand identity through the representation of my central protagonist, which is coherent throughout all three of my products. Tessa Perkins looked at stereotyping. She said that stereotyping has some element of truth, given that it is repeated representations within society and the media. Here I have used the vulnerable stereotype of a female character in order to establish Bea's character. I will have used this successfully in all three of my products in order to combine my products. Therefore, it can be suggested that the way in which I have used stereotypes has allowed me to communicate and encode meaning for audiences, thus increasing the chance of my audiences decoding the dominant meaning.